we also see that a human rights-based approach underpins and makes our development assistance programs much more impactful. And that also includes working in an active way, in active engagement with local civil society. Our own human rights record, domestically, like all member states here, is far from perfect. We are on a journey, as all of you are. We're on a journey to society which embraces equality, inclusion, and the full diversity of human life and experience. A society based on civic, political, and economic well-being. All are important, all are key. We still have a long way to go. We have learned on our journey over 100 years of independence that the protection and promotion of human rights enables a much more open and inclusive society that can deliver for all our people. 20 years on from its establishment, the Human Rights Council has, we believe, become a mature institution that makes a substantial contribution to human rights worldwide. Its known and work deepens our understanding of human rights principles. The UPR, the Universal Periodic Review, provides data to forward that share both its experiences and its challenges and underpins many forms of technical assistance. In its country-specific work, the Council shines a light on serious violations and human rights emergencies. Only last week, it had an emergency session on the situation in Sudan. And through its investigatory mechanisms, it acts as a powerful force for accountability. So Ireland has put itself forward for elections to the Human Rights Council to play our part under all these headings and in all the work of the Council. And the priorities that we have set out, that the Minister set out in the video, will guide us, underpin at all times by our consistent commitment to international law and international human rights law and the universality of human rights. And to conclude, if you're glad to hear, I just want to say that during some of the darkest moments in our own Ireland story, some of the darkest moments in the conflict of the Isle of Ireland, those of us who are lucky enough to work in the peace process often sustain ourselves through dark days with what we call a duty of hope. Now that's not just wishful thinking, it's not sitting under a trade union kumbaya, it's actually a really active obligation, a shared obligation to believe and to work to make things better. And that's what we want to do as a member of the Human Rights Council, to work with all of you and all the members on the Council as a shared obligation to make this world a better place for all our peoples. As Minister McEntee said, we will continue to be a consistent voice and a committed voice and a committed partner for human rights. We will continue to stand up for human rights and we will continue to stand up for our United Nations. And it's on this basis that we seek your support, all of your support, for our candidacy for the Human Rights Council 2027-2029. Thank you very much.
For the international human rights system, Ireland will continue to be a friend, an advocate, and a vigorous voice for human rights, and for those who defend human rights right across the world. Go to Míle
Dear friends and colleagues, just building on what the Minister said there, I suppose I want to set out why Ireland is running for the Human Rights Council and why we want the vote of each and every one of your delegations. It's a year of anniversaries, 88 years since we have had the UN established, 70 years since Ireland and 15 other nations joined the UN in 1955, and almost 20 years since the Human Rights Council was established. And against that backdrop, and against the challenging moment we are living in, Ireland wants to use this moment to reiterate our commitment, our deep commitment to the UN and its three pillars: interrelated, indivisible, inseparable, and indispensable. Peace and security, development, and human rights. In doing so, we're not blind to the reality of the world we're living in today. We're not naive. We can see, that the conflict has proliferated in a way that we just didn't think imaginable 10 years ago. In far too many situations, from Afghanistan to Ukraine, from Gaza to Sudan, and many other situations, many other locations, we've seen a clear disregard for international human rights law and international humanitarian law. We've also seen that progress is lacking in implementation of sustainable development goals. We see that poverty and conflict and climate change are deepening the impact of disasters, are driving inequality, are increasing disability in compounding and interlinked ways. And in a world of plenty, the most basic of human needs, the right to adequate food, is often undermined and threatened. And at the same time, we see a shrinking civic space, we see a silencing of critical voices, we see a pushback, in some ways a concerted pushback, against the principles of equity, equality, think we can do so much better as an international community. So we recognise the deep responsibility that comes with membership of the Human Rights Council. We're committed to playing our part in shouldering this responsibility, shouldering this burden, in a spirit of dialogue and discussion on solidarity and partnership. We know through our own Ireland experience that human rights are the bedrock of peaceful, stable and prosperous societies. Human rights are key in building the foundations of peace, justice and reconciliation on the island of Ireland.